Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Cabledeconns 4K HDMI 2.1 switch. But before we do that, if you guys like movie reviews, Blu-ray reviews, 4K Blu-ray reviews, video game reviews, and some tech along the way, then consider subscribing because we do all that here. So, jumping right in, if you're anything like me and you have both next-gen consoles, an RTX gaming PC, and any other device that demands high frame rate, HDMI 2.1, 48 gigabytes per second HDMI cables, then you might run into an issue where your TV doesn't have 4 HDMI 2.1 slots, and mine does. I have the LG CX OLED from 2020, and that was the only TV at the time that had the HDMI 2.1 ports for the new consoles to get your 120 FPS out of your Xbox and your PlayStation. Again, like I said, I have both consoles. I have a gaming PC and I have a home theater soundbar, so that eats up my eARC port, so there's one port gone. Then you got your Xbox, that's a second port. Your PlayStation, that's a third port. Do the math, I'm full. And now I have a Nintendo Switch, I have 100 other systems, and I have a 4K Blu-ray player to review all the movies we do on the channel. So, needless to say, my TV ports are pretty crowded. So I did a little research, and I found a company called Cabledeconn. This was $27 on Amazon. So I said, you know what? Let me try it out. I saw some reviews, I saw some other people talk about it, and this thing works. It works actually fantastic. Now, the only negative I saw to this where people were saying is you have to physically get up and press the button on it to change your port. Now, me, I'm primarily an Xbox guy, so I have my Xbox and my PlayStation plugged into this. So I didn't need change on the fly because I don't use my PlayStation often. I use the Xbox most, so I have put those two on there. Let me start by saying how to hook it up. So you have HDMI source 1 and HDMI source 2. Now you could put my Xbox in source 1 and my PlayStation in source 2, and then you have an HDMI out. Now this does not come with any HDMI cables, so you have to use the 2 cables that came with the console, and then you have to pick up another HDMI 2.1 capable. I don't know if it has to be 8K, but it's gonna say 8K because it's 48 gigabytes per second bandwidth HDMI cable. So it's also gonna say Ultra Certified. It'll have the high-speed thing on there, and they'll have a thing for you to scan. Now this is the Rocket Fish cable. I get these from Best Buy, and I have a bunch of these, and these cables are great. Now we can make a whole nother video about, do expensive cables matter? Can I buy a $10 cable? Can I buy a $200 cable? Is there a difference? I'm in the middle of the road where I'm not going to buy cheap $5 garbage cables, but I'm also not going to spend $300 on an Audio Quest or a Monster cable or something like that, because that's just absurd. Now, these Rocket Fish cables, these are reasonably priced. I think they range from $20 to $30, $40, $50 depending on length. This is the 2-foot cable. I think I paid $20 for, or maybe $30 for the 2-foot cable, which is not terrible, I don't think. You know, and I only got the 2-foot cable because it's, you know, it's not going far. I have this placed behind both consoles, so it's easily accessible, and I didn't need a 100-foot cable, and it would just make it look cluttered. But enough of the cable. You can get those on bestbuy.com, or go in your local Best Buy, they stock them. So you'll need an extra cable to plug into the HDMI display port, so that will go from this box to the open port on your TV, and then you have your 2 consoles plugged into there. So now it also comes with a little USB cable that you can either plug into a spare power brick if you have an extra iPhone cube or something like that, or you can plug it into the USB port on your TV, which is what I did. So I tried using it without the USB cable first, and it worked because I had both consoles turned on. If you have both consoles turned on, you do not, or both device, whatever HDMI devices you have plugged in, if you have them both powered on, then you do not need the USB cable. But in most scenarios, that's probably not going to happen. So pretty much you need the USB cable. So don't write that off. Make sure you got a spot to plug that in. But it's not the end of the world, because I think the TV's got 3 or 4 USB ports on the back anyway. So as far as the unit goes, it comes packaged in this little green thing. You know, Amazon puts it in a bubble envelope, and you know, it's whatever on the packaging. But the build quality is pretty nice. You know, it's got a nice little metal casing around it. It's got your all your labeling. It's 8K, 2.1 or 2x1 switch. This would be considered. So it's 2 in, 1 out. So again, I'll plug my Xbox into 1, PlayStation into 2. And then it has a little blue indicator light to show you which one you have selected when it's turned on. And that's basically it. So you'll plug it into your port. And so now if your TV is completely off, and say I have it, the last thing I played was the Xbox, so that was the port that I had selected. If it's still in this when I shut everything off, come back the next day, and I turn my Xbox controller on, it's still going to turn my TV on with the HDMI CEC technology, whatever you want to call it. It still runs through this. However, if you turn on the PlayStation while you're on port 1, it's not going to switch ports. You have to press the button in the middle, which is not the end of the world, for me at least. Some people, that might be the make or break, deal breaker, but for me, like I said, I primarily play the Xbox. I barely touch the PlayStation, so for the few times I'm going to turn on the PlayStation, I don't mind getting up to press the button. But like I said, I have a ton of devices hooked up to my TV, and I've been using this for a while. I've been playing Forza Horizon 5 with the Hot Wheels expansion, and I check all the boxes on the screen check on the Xbox. I'm getting the 4K, I'm getting 120, I'm getting Dolby Vision, I'm getting all the FPS, I'm getting the variable refresh rate, the VRRR. This supports everything you can throw at it, and I am so surprised. For 27 bucks off of Amazon, this thing is a no-brainer if you're out of ports on your TV, because I always thought, you splitting the HDMI signal, it can't be as good as plugging it straight into the TV. And you know what? I was wrong, because this thing does a great job. I guess the USB power amplifies it. I don't know how it works, how it splits it, and you're not splitting it like crazy. And this is 2.1, so it is a lot faster than all the other splitters previously. But this thing works fantastic. It will split your HDMI 2.1, so you can have all the next-gen consoles, an RTX graphics card PC, whatever requires that high frame rate, it'll work as long as your TV has a 2.1 port on it. So in closing, can I recommend this? For the price, A+, 10 out of 10. $27 is a no-brainer if you need something like this. If you have all the next-gen consoles, if your TV only has 1 or 2 2.1 ports, of course. And I think there's actually a 3-port one. I only got the 2 because that's all I needed. So if you're looking for more ports, you have too many devices, you're always behind the TV unplugging stuff to plug in the PlayStation or the Xbox or whatever you got going on, this will save you a ton of time. It'll save you a ton of grief. And also, unplugging HDMI cables in anything, you're going to wear it out eventually. So save yourself some money, save the console, save your back, whatever. It's a pain in the ass getting behind the TV. And this is a nice piece of equipment right here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm thoroughly impressed, especially at the price point it was at. It supports everything I've thrown at it. Every game I've played on the PlayStation and the Xbox in the past week that I've been playing with it, everything works great. The CEC still works with the TV as long as you're on the correct port. This thing works great. I highly recommend it. I saw 0 sound or 0 video loss, and that's really the thing that had me scared about a switcher, because I was like, I'm not sure if an HDMI switch is the best way to go. I like the highest quality, and I could safely say that this does not degrade the quality at all whatsoever, that I noticed at least. And I have a pretty high-end system here. I got my Sonos sound system, I have the LG OLED 77-inch TV, the Series X, the PlayStation 5. I like high quality things. I have everything in 4K, so I could safely say, and I could safely recommend, especially for that price point, this is a no-brainer if you need the extra HDMI ports. So if you guys like this video, consider liking, because that's the best way to help us out. Share it with some friends that might be going through the same problem, you know? I mean, a lot of people are, if you can even get a PlayStation 5, but a lot of people have both consoles, and not all the TVs have the 2.1 capability. This won't add 2.1 to your TV. You need a 2.1 port in the TV, but this just multiplies it. So that's it for me here on Let's Talk. And again, if you guys like this video, give it a like, share it, and consider subscribing, because that also helps us out. But that's it for me, so have a great day, guys.